The mic is hot. So we're about to start the session. We're going to start off with Brother Asaru, and he has a presentation. We'll go to the presentation, but remember to keep your voices up because people trying to listen to what y'all got, what we're talking about, and it's kind of frustrating when the sound is very low. So try and project your voice. It's good practice for talking in other environments anyway. We just had yoga with Brother Mansour. Now we're about to move into the study session. It's on you, Asaru.
Well, I made this presentation because I'm into city and regional planning. How many of you in here are artists? Okay. Who wants to be a architecture when they get older? Construction worker, landscaper, city planner? Nobody? Okay. Well, I call this the Blueprints for Black Power, Columbus, Ohio, the rise of a new chocolate city. The African American buying power in Columbus, Ohio in the year 2009 was $1,859,000,000 in 2009. That's how much we spend. Now I don't remember the exact numbers because they had different sections on how much we in each section how much we spend, but in 2009 we spent $200 million on food alone. Just going to the grocery store and buying food. So just think about how much you're spending when you could be growing your own food. What will Central Ohio look like in 40 years? The number of people in Franklin and 6 surrounding counties, Delaware, Lincoln, Fairfield, Pickaway, Madison, Union, is expected to rise by 500,000 to 2.3 million by 2040. About 300,000 more housing units will be needed to accommodate population growth. But more than 80% of growth in households over the next 40 years will be in those of 1 or 2 people with no children. And many of those people prefer to live in smaller lot single-family homes, townhomes, or multi-family apartments and condominiums, the report says. This is in the Columbus Dispatch. So these are the numbers right here, projected numbers on the population growth in Columbus in the next 20, 30 years. So there's about 266,696 African Americans in Columbus, Ohio as of 2014.
How many?
266,697 African Americans in Columbus, Ohio this year in 2014. I came up with the number of 1.5 million people in Columbus, Franklin County, and multiply that with 35%. By 2032, there will be a projection of plus 525,000 African Americans or black people in the city of Columbus. So you look at the numbers, there'll be 258,703 African Americans gained in the next 18-year span from 2014 to 2032. And you divide that number into 18, 14,372 African Americans will be moving to Columbus every year from 2014 to 2032. And these are the list of African American neighborhoods in Columbus. Got Driving Park, Mount Vernon, Near East Side, Berwick, Berwyn, all these. I ain't gonna name them all. And this right here, Broad Street District, Central East West Columbus. There's a lot of black people that live downtown Columbus. I'll show you the numbers. So these are the numbers of African Americans that live in each town in the Columbus metropolitan area. So I live in Reynoldsburg. There's about 14,993 of us. What side of town y'all live on?
North.
Hookerville.
Like, what part of the north side?
I don't even live in
Westerville Road.
Huh?
Westerville Road.
Westerville Road. So, let's see. You will be in the Eastern Crum American Edition and Sherwood area. It's about 20,532. Where you live at? In Grove City?
Mm-hmm.
There's about 3,173 African Americans that live in Grove City.
Old Town
I
East.
can tell.
Old Town East?
Old Town East.
9,110,000 black folks there.
So where's the? I can't see too clearly. Where's the least amount of black people at?
The least?
Is that Worthington?
Well, the University District,
Yeah.
but that's not including the students that are there. So with the students, it'd be 3,000. But yeah, the least will be Worthington. And how you find out about these numbers? You just type in your zip code where you live at, and it'll give you these numbers. So when city planners, when they're trying to find somewhere to build at, or they try to find where we're at, and you try and build a mall, they'll see how much black people's in one area, and they'll probably put a mall there so we can spend.
Or Family Dollars.
Or Family Dollars.
In every
There's been tons of
community.
Family Dollars popping up, I don't know, in the past year. I'm tired of seeing them. So these are the downtown area is 2,548,000. Below Grogan, Short North, 5,495,000.
That Linden area is almost 32,000. Right?
Yeah, that's the last neighborhood stronghold that we have as black people in the city. Because Mount Vernon, you can see, is getting gentrified. You know, they're kicking everybody out. So,
What about the Hilltop is a large number.
well, that's included with Franklinton, the bottoms,
Berwyn.
about 19,000. So, I mean, black people everywhere. We're just spread out. So, you look at these numbers.
So these are current or projected numbers?
These are current, not projected.
So are these numbers increasing or diminishing?
These numbers go by zip code. So,
So
I
according
forgot
to
this.
the projection that you was talking about, it's
It's
increasing.
going to each area is probably most likely going to grow because
Mhm.
you want to get expansion of more black people that want to move to Columbus, but on different, they got their choice to live on any side of town.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Now, I see how you have it set up, and this is just like the black people. How would you know, like, in reference to the rest of, like, in reference to other cultures? Like, for instance, in Pickerington, it says 4,866 out of, like when I put the zip code in, would it tell me, like, all
Yeah, they'll have the total number.
Yeah.
It'll be like, let's say 30,000. Then they'll break it down. It's like white population, black population, Asian. Everything is there. You can't miss it, man. Like people don't know. So you just look it up. It's right there.
How often are the numbers done?
Some are done every year, depending on what site you go to. But really, like the main census they do every 10 years. The next one will be to 2020, so that'll be another 6 years. So we won't know where the population, how big the population will be in the next 10 years. Profit?
So like a straight up question.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly are we looking at these numbers for? Like, what's the point of
We'll
this?
get into it.
Patience, guys.
Patience.
So
These are the Caribbean islanders and Central American numbers. So 8,000 Puerto Ricans, 2,000 Dominicans, 1,112,000 Hondurans, and then we have a notable small community of Haitians here too.
But now, as far as you identifying yourself as a certain race,
Mm-hmm. Like we don't like.
we know that they can be finagled because it depends on how you choose to. I mean, for real, you might not say that I'm black. You might say that I'm Hispanic because I speak Spanish language.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's the language and not necessarily your race.
Mm-hmm. Now the Somali community here, estimates of 45,000 Somalis with 400 small businesses in the Columbus, Ohio.
how many?
400?
400 small businesses of Somalis own 400 small businesses here in Columbus.
How many small businesses African Americans have?
I don't know them numbers. I've been looking for them. Can't find them.
So the numbers that you showed us, they didn't include the Somalian number, or
A lot of times they won't include them.
or the Afro Latino numbers.
They
But
won't
you
be
just-
included. Yeah, they won't be included.
Because they might be classified, maybe as other, because they don't have.
Well, some of the Dominicans, they be thinking, well, I'm going to check Hispanic.
But with the Somalis, it's gonna say black or other African descent.
No, that depends. That depends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because when they taking numbers, the whole object is to separate.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they're gonna give them a place to check, especially since they know they're here.
Right.
They separate the races basically and make people look equal.
So when you say small business, you talking about like stores, like
Yeah,
I see
like-
a lot of Somalian, Chinese
So, like, if you
people
say,
and
like, Somalians start a gallery shop, gallery hot, or a gallery art store, that's considered a small business.
Oh, that store right by the 99-cent store.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Infinity. Remember how all the Somalis are doing nice?
Or like all them small African restaurants and stuff like that, that's all small businesses.
Or daycare centers.
Daycare centers,
Car lots,
Car
the kind of
lots.
stuff that we
yeah,
see.
you know.
Even
So-
that international food
And
market.
actually, they have Northern Lights. It's called the Somalian Community Center or
Yeah.
something. Y'all have identified as spaces y'all own. You know,
Especially on the west side off of Sullivan,
Yeah.
they
far
got that.
west.
They got a whole block shut off. Nobody can run a business through there if it ain't Somali.
Got the global mall.
yeah.
So their buying power in it was 2009 was 216 million annually.
How much?
216 million annually.
Say it again.
216 million.
2009.
2009.
There's some other population that by far 216.
Then you see the Ethiopian numbers. I'm just trying to run through this because I know we're short of time. So there's an economic boom here in Columbus. Ranked number 1 in technology and energy. Ranked number 3 in fashion behind New York and San Francisco. Ranked number 8 in the U.S. for economic growth. Ranked number 1 in opportunity city to start a business, start your family here. How about that? Ranked number 8 in most affordable to buy a house for millennials. Ranked number 10 in most affordable to rent a house for millennials. An economic boom in food and agriculture, retail, and there's an oil gas boom here. They're drilling oil here in Central Ohio. A lot of people don't know that.
You said what? You say it again.
They're drilling gas and oil like the gas we use to put in our cars. There's a county, I think it's Knox County. They just drilled a hole over there, and now they're trying to hire people to drill this oil out of the ground in Columbus.
So I have a question.
So they not importing it, right?
The prices still didn't go down.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
getting.
Matter of fact, I done heard estimates that the United States at this point in time is the #1 oil producer.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, we produce a whole lot of oil. Y'all, you got to check out what's going on. You think it's booming here? You got to check out what's going on out west.
So I have a question. Why are United States troops still in Afghanistan supposedly harvesting oil if we're like supposed to be #1 in this?
That's a good question.
What's the #1 product out of Afghanistan?
Oil?
Opium.
Oh.
You got to keep the drug trade flowing, my friend.
I can't believe that's still around.
Enforce it.
I got a question though.
Big heroin.
With the energy.
Yeah.
What do they mean by rank #1 in energy? We're producing.
So
energy,
like technology,
grids
you got technology. You got this company near Ohio State campus called Battelle.
here.
They create all the weapons for the Army,
Not
the Navy.
all,
Some they make transportation. So like trying to build train stations, stuff like that. All different type of military things you can think of, they create that. And then with the energy, I know somebody that has he's in this company, and basically, it's this like machine that they use. You put it in a house, or you can put it in a business or whatever, and it sucks the energy. So saying like, I put it right here, put this little machine right here, it'll suck the energy from the computer, the outlets, everything that's functioning with electricity. It'll suck that energy out, and it'll help you lower your costs on your bill. So if you want to if you tired of paying a high electric bill, it'll
Where he
off.
at?
Yeah, we need to invest in Schmickers.
I tried to invite him here, but he's not.
You talking about
Norris.
Norris? Okay,
Yeah, I tried to invite him, but he's busy. So, but I'm just showing you this so you can see yourself participating in this economic boom. Whether you want to be in technology, if you're a fashion designer, you can participate in fashion. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of fashion incubators here that are starting and helping people start their career as fashion designers. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that you can participate in as an African American to benefit your community or our community. So, just showing you.
I like that rank #1 for Opportunity City. That means if it's not on there, you can get the ideas.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of people moving here. Like, people are just clueless. Like, me and my friend, we sit down, we talk about, the housing market and stuff like that. And a lot of people here are clueless, man. The people that are moving here know what time it is.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? We're just sitting here clueless, figure out what we're going to do. When we spent $1 billion in 2009, we probably spending more than like that right now. I'm not saying all of us, not all of us can come together as a community, but if some of us come together, we can try to create some businesses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Try to create an opportunity for our children when they grow up, you know what I mean? So they have a job, you know what I mean? We need to create businesses so we can, provide our children with jobs. So this is a blueprint of the Wilson Road Park out in the west side Columbus. You know where the casino's at?
Yeah.
Well, this is near the casino, and they trying to build a 45-acre park on the hilltop. Trying to build athletic fields and a biking stop so you can park your bike, you know what I mean, walk around the park, and blueprints of the existing wetlands. So everybody around the country trying to go green, so I'm just showing you what they have planned, and they're already proposes, and it's already going to be done.
Now, is this
and they've been doing this for 2 years.
To the other parks that they've already constructed? Is
Well,
that part of the
you know where COSI is at?
Yeah.
You know that parking lot?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get rid of that parking lot, put a park there.
How's that gonna work?
Huh? They put the parking garages down under the ground.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
while the city is growing, they're trying to go green. So to be more ecosystems. The water will be clean and stuff like that, which they already knew this science years ago. You know what I mean? But they're just now doing it because they kick us out in the suburbs, and now they're gonna have the city to themselves. You know what I mean? So they can create their world the way they want to. Now this is frequency on the bottoms. I know y'all heard of bottoms. Nobody wants to go there. It's white trash.
I stay away from the west side.
Drugs, all that. Well, this is what they got planned in the next 5 to 10 years to try and create an art district. And they're already past everything. They got everything zoned the way they want to, commercial, residential. So this is what they want that community to look like. You know what I mean? And this took years of planning. This didn't come overnight. This took probably about, they've been talking about this for the past 10 years. You know what I mean? So these white folks, man, they're planning because they trying to create jobs to provide something for their children while they kicking us out. You know what I mean? They carried the wealth from the suburbs and they planted it right in the urban areas. So I'm just showing you, you know what I mean? You can do the same thing. You know what I mean? We can do the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not impossible. We just have to come together and see what we want and stop begging this government to do stuff for us. It's not going to happen. They're not going to do anything for us. Point blank, period. And this is how it will look, like the residential and commercial areas, businesses. Just the different areas they're trying to cut out to see what they can fit in this small little facility.
Keep it coastal.
Huh? Coastside. Oh.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah. Like I said, there's going to be a park right here.
I mean, they already renovated that area a bit.
Yeah. They already got bars down there and, you know, all different type of stuff. It's small, but there's people going down there and chilling. And they got their own little
activity as far as a different type of culture, nightlife a little bit in the downtown area.
And they
it's
got
riding down the high street at night, you know what I'm saying, on a Saturday, Friday night. It's just so different.
And it's already connected to the brewery district.
Right.
So like that makes actually the import of beer easy. It's like a small enclosed space, but
they don't import it, they make it.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
They make it. That's why they call it the brewery district. They ain't call it an importing district. They call it the brewery district.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, they actually import it, like, from where they make it, just, like, straight to the bar.
Wait a minute, that's what the business vendors were hollering for.
Remember the
So
stuff I
that
brought?
way, okay, we don't even have to drive and it's free for right now.
And then right here at the river, I don't know if you've been down there lately, but they've been digging up and all that type of stuff. They're about to put green space right on the river, have clean water. While they're kicking us out, they're trying to bring their wealth right back to the city. We wonder, oh, why are they doing that? Why they doing that now? They just kicking us out? Because they can do it. They got power. We don't. We have power, but we just don't know how to cooperate and use it and stop spending money with Walmart, Eastern Mall.
When you think about it, what is the true power? It's the knowledge and the information. Most dangerous person in the United States, well, he's not in the United States right now, is Eric Snowden because of the information and secrets that he had. So if we have the information and we're able to utilize it so that we can put ourselves ahead of the curve or in strategic places to be able to take advantage of the different patterns that we see coming.
Let's move on. Then Poindexter, I know y'all know where Poindexter is, Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Well, they already got a federal grant to use that money to rebuild that area they just knocked down last year. So this is what they got planned for the whole area of Poindexter, what they call the Blackberry Patch or something like that. Yep.
They call it what?
Blackberry patch.
Blackberry Patch.
It actually used to be a blackberry patch. My grandfather told me about it.
So this is what they're doing.
What's a blackberry patch?
Where blackberries grow.
Right, no, but you didn't think it was literal. This is
I thought it was just a story. Like, you want some blackberry patch.
So move on.
Feel free to stab me.
And these are the other projects that they have. I didn't do a single slide on it because it would be too much. But this is going to be downtown near the Columbus Common Park, where the city center used to be at.
Yeah, they're still constructing, but yeah.
They have plans to bring a metropolitan train station here. This right here, you know where Wheeling Park is, short north?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wyland Park. I always call it Wheeling for some reason. But they're trying to put a food district over there to bring in fresh produce, bring in fresh vegetables and fruits. So they'll have their own district.
You mean like Kroger's over there?
Like, yeah, kind of near Kroger's.
And
off of Fifth Avenue and Fifth.
Yeah, like when they tore down that one Kroger's
Fifth
and then
and
like
Fourth.
replaced it with a bigger one.
Yeah, 5th and 4th Street. There's a vacant lot, big old vacant lot there.
Yeah.
This is in Dublin, and they ain't gonna go nowhere. They're gonna keep that area. So
Yeah, they're gonna connect it. That's what they
yeah,
do.
this is somewhere downtown. There used to be a shoe factory, and they're just using the building, just remodeling it. This is part of the food district, and this is the new dorm that they're building on campus. That they're just doing.
The one that they just started constructing?
Yeah, the one they just, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is what it's gonna look.
Oh, they tore down the basketball
Yeah.
court?
This is what it's gonna look like.
Okay, now it's war.
I have a
No, it's
question
been
about
war.
the train station. We have so many railroads. What was going on then? Was that? That was just
For
transport.
For years, when I was a kid, looking at the news, man, they've been talking about trying to bring a train station here for years, and they still haven't done it. I don't know why. I know that the governor we have now just brought down that plan to not bring it here.
He blocked the federal funds.
Yeah,
Who
so
was that?
Kasich.
Well, I
How
do
he got
know
like another term in office? I don't know.
it was supposed to be in Cleveland, Dayton, Columbus,
Cincinnati.
in Cincinnati,
Train shooting
right?
right-
It
shooting
was
right
all
between.
supposed to. I mean, now I guess that they would sit and try to negotiate who gets the funding or.
Right.
and they're still talking about it. They're talking about trying.
The train
connect-
will happen.
Yeah, it'll happen,
It's
but-
going to happen because the thing is they want to connect all these major hubs together. And they want to be able to get there fast and make it convenient.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time of them, allowing this to go through.
Because as far as this train station goes, it's not new.
Right.
If you go to Georgia, you know what I'm saying, they have that connection with the city transit, with the metro train and so it's all a part of. So it's not. It's kind of like, well, why did it take so long? But then the other thing what made me ask the question about it is because me and my dad were riding somewhere. He was like, this used to be a train track right here. And I'm looking around like, how could that have been? Because I see all these houses. It was somewhere we were riding at. And it's like a hump on your way from like Ohio Dominican to Fifth Avenue. It's a big old hump. That used to be a railroad, but around there now it's houses, So it just made me think, like, I know it was a train here once upon a time. What was it here for? So that's smart.
So I'm just showing you this. So now we're gonna go a little bit in the past to see what you did and your ancestors.
Like, where did we go wrong?
Not really, but I'm just showing you what y'all did. The original city and regional planners, landscape architects, and architect builders. I'm about to hit the Americas, because you are indigenous to America as well. This is Teotihuacan in central Mexico. These are the pyramids that your ancestors built.
Is that supposed to be linked to the Mayans?
The Olmecs.
Olmecs, yeah.
Olmecs mines, they're all the same culture, same people.
Oh, okay.
Olmecs is more ancient.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to that in a second. But the Olmecs actually built them. Everybody else came later. Incas, Mayas, they came later and found these buildings and stuff and was like,
And aren't the Incas still around? They're just known as Eskimos now.
No.
Okay.
The Incas are sitting in this room.
Funny how
Black
the Ice
people,
King
they're
is
sitting in this
mentioned
room.
Tupac.
No difference. There's not no happy you call a Mexican who you see as a Mexican now. These are pyramids in Mexico. So you see how your ancestors built. They've been building for a long time. These white folks just now starting to build. And they're taking the science from you. This is a pyramid and a temple in Peru. They just found. And these are the mounds in Ohio. Ancient mounds in Ohio.
Where's that mound?
Right here.
Yeah.
This one's in Miamisburg, Ohio. And this one is in Southeast Ohio somewhere. You see how your ancestors used. You can see how your ancestors used the earth to build their structures. They didn't have to go cut no metal or nothing like they used the earth to build their structures.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did we build off of the mountains, or did the mountains build off of us?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. Now this is the Grand Canyons, and they just found. Well, they didn't just find them for about. I heard for 5 years ago that they found temples in the Grand Canyon. Buildings in the Grand Canyon. Now this temple right here is the temple of Isis in the Grand Canyon. And they found mummies, tombs.
Wait, it's literally called the Temple of Isis.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, just not some assumption or, like, nickname that they decided to give it.
Nope.
Where's
And this
the Grand Canyon at?
in Arizona.
Oh.
And this mound right here, this is the biggest mound in North America. This is in Illinois. Cahokia, something like that. Cahokia Mound. You can literally see the Arch of St. Louis from Illinois from there. So
it's not that far.
mm-mm. Now we're just about to hit Africa and Kemet. Just want you to show you how your ancestors built these structures. They were architects. They were city planners. They built these temples for a reason. Now this temple is temple of Philae. This was a university in Egypt. You call Ohio State, people go get their education. This is where people going to go get their education in the mystery systems. This is Valley of the Kings temple. This is where all the Egyptian kings were, most of them were buried. These are the pyramids and the Sphinx. And this is actually right here, this is actually what the temples look like. They drew a painting in the 1800s when France went over there. And this is what they actually look like before I started messing them up and tearing them down and stuff. So it was actually people painting and coloring, stuff like that. So this is the temple of Komombo. I'm just showing you that, you know what I mean, you can build, you know, your own buildings. I'm not saying we're going to go back to building this, but you can create something new, you know, so. And we're about to hit Europe because there's black people in Europe too. These are the pyramids in Europe that they've been finding. This is, well, they said this is the biggest pyramid in the world right now. This is in Bosnia. These are pyramids as well. These castles, these are the Moorish castles in Spain, where the Moors went into Spain and civilized the white people and was in there for 700 years. So we built civilization in Spain.
So, like, did this happen during the Middle Ages or at the end of it?
Middle Ages, around
And 700 AD
to 14.
to about 14.
This is when they would talk about when you read your textbooks. They always talk about the was it Black Death or the Dead Plague or something like that. Well, they skipped over that and tell you that you was in Spain cleaning them up while at that time. You taught them how to bathe. You taught them how to brush their teeth. You taught them how to do everything. You civilized them.
And they can't invite us back.
When the big thing about the plagues is they didn't know what to do with their feces. Like they didn't have like a plumbing system, things like that.
They would use buckets, use the bathroom in the bucket and throw it outside the window, and it would hit people. And they'll throw it in the river. That's how nasty they were.
I ain't gonna be able to eat for the rest of the day.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just speaking truth to you. You know what I mean? That's how it happened. And they won't tell that story because they'll be embarrassed.
They say in about 900 some AD, the Moors had a plumbing system that was equivalent to a plumbing system in America in about the 1850s. So in 1850s, a plumbing system here we had when we were in Europe, it's 900 AD. So throw that out there.
And like now, Russia's also facing tuberculosis because of reasons.
Well, this is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. And I also have a folder here if y'all are interested in architecture or in city planning or whatever, you can look.
Now I have a question. So, like, my earlier question was like never answered. What was the point of all this?
The point of all this is that you see the thing. We forget that we depend on the white people to build everything for us, but we've been building for years. A lot of people don't know that.
The motivation to get it back is in us. It's time to bring it back out.
Because all the white man will take care of it. White man will do this. The white man will do that, and we depend on them every single time. And not knowing that we can build our own cities. We got craftsmen. You know what I mean? We got anybody you can think of that can build a building. You know what I mean? We think that we can't do it because black people can't get together.
Not true.
But then that raises up the question: how can we get them together? Like, what's their incentive? What's the motivation?
You find people that want to create something with you. You can't depend on every black person to do everything with you because that's not going to happen. You find somebody that is willing to do the work, and y'all create your own business, your own vision.
And like, what about the Somali interior? I mean, what about the
if you want, you can build with them. That's the point. You know what I mean? We need to connect with our brothers and sisters all over the world because we need resources. It's all about resources at the end of the day. These white people that go across the world, they got their own little military bases everywhere. They're everywhere across the world, and they're getting these resources and they're utilizing them to build their own societies.
So has it ever crossed anyone's mind to look and see exactly how the white people are structuring their own system and kind of base their system off of that?
Well,
but in a better way.
What he's stressing is that you got your own systems that you go back to, and most of the stuff that they doing, we have already did. So they're following our model. So why go to the copy when you could go to the original? And the original is already in you. That's why we meeting here.
Because usually copies are sometimes modified.
They're who?
Copies are sometimes modified. They're botched.
Sometimes. I mean, you can learn from anything. But now we're going to get into the Vedic math. You ready, Miss Tracy?
I'm not good.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for bringing that, and it's so important right now just because we see so much construction and so much building. And before they do anything, they sit in rooms and brainstorm and think about and draw pictures about how they want things to look. And it's important to know that you can do the same thing.
And also, they sit and they have budget meetings about what they're going to do, and oftentimes we're not there at the meeting. So it's public record that lets you know that the meeting is going on. Although it is a boring meeting, it's the people who are there to voice what it is that they need for their community that are getting the things that they need and they want.
And these are playgrounds that we'll play at, the riverfront that you'll go to, probably with your children to visit, buildings that you'll have to go into. Who doesn't want to be a part of that building? You all are young enough to decide what it is that you want to do and be, architecture or landscaping. These are all things that you can do too. Don't feel like you have to just sit by and look at it and watch it.
Let's see. Okay. All right, we get into the Vedic math session. So, like I said, remember that we are recording this. So make sure that you talk up so that you can be heard. So now what we get into is math. All right?
Okay.
This is one of the major blocks.
Oh, no. No.
Okay. Hi, everybody. What I'm about to go through is just like a brief like introduction for double-digit multiplication. We look at a lot of people look at math and they immediately get this. Oh no type of attitude about it. So what I'm about to show you is like something that can, give you a quicker way to do double-digit multiplication. In this case, I'm about to do an example involving double-digit multiplication that is close to where your two numbers are close to zero. Close to 100. So let's take 98 times 95. When you look at that, you're immediately thinking like, oh no. You're right. So we're going to look at it, and we're going to look at how close these numbers are to 100. So 98 is how far away from 100?
2.
2. So we're going to put 2 right here. And 95, how far away from 100?
Minus.
4.
Minus.
5.
5.
Minus 2.
Okay. 5. So we got to understand that from 100, take away 2 is 98. 100, take away 5 is 95, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got the -2 and the -5. -2 times -5 is a positive 10. -2, negative times a negative is a positive, right?
Right.
We're going to put that 10 down here. Now, we're going to look at the numbers. We're going to cross subtract. We could go 98 take away 5, or we could go 95 take away 2. 98 take away 5 is what?
93.
95 take away 2 is what?
93.
It's the same answer, right?
Right.
So, 95 take away 2 is 93. Our answer for 98 times 95 is 9,310.
What?
Wait, what?
Another one.
Yes.
You gotta go slow now. They got their interest, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead, master teacher.
How did you get the -2 and the -5?
It's the rule.
From 100.
From 100?
Do another one. Do another one for me.
Miss Tracy,
It's subtraction,
you
right?
have to know that a negative and a negative equals a positive. So you got that from the rule, right?
Right.
Okay. Is that what you were asking?
No, he wanted to
No,
know
I
how.
was asking how did she
Get negatives.
2 and -5, and she said you subtract.
Right. So 100. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
100.
No, I get it.
Because you raised her up. You gotta put the razor back down.
Okay.
Okay, what just happened?
So here we go. 100.
Profit.
Take away 2.
Yeah.
It's 98. 100. Okay.
You touch something, Cleveland? Are you?
Just circle around the whole thing and push the middle.
No, he said circle it and then just hit it.
Oh, circle it. Okay.
And then hit it.
Oh, thank you. Who is that giving me this help? Thank you so much.
Right. That's why we know.
Right, I'm like,
Now this method works, like she said, close to 100.
close to 100. Okay, so let's look at 85 times 99.
Uh-oh. That's hard. No.
Wait, hold on. That's negative 15.
5,
That's negative
negative
1.
5, and 1.
Right,
Come
so
on
negative 15,
5,
And one.
and
negative
1.
1.
Now, remember, look how she doing it, though. Y'all got to look at how she doing it. She put 0, 1.
Keeping the double digits.
And then it's 5.
Tell them why it's
Straight
double
up
digits. Why is it double digits?
The double digits, you want to keep the double digits. I don't have the legal rule, but you want to keep the double digits because you might get something where let's see, something like -1 times -2. That would be 2. So you would end up having to put 0, 2 for the 2 digits when you come down here, so you can still keep your numbers lined up. What's the correct rule?
The rule of that is that however many zeros, because this same method works with no matter how large the number is, if it's large to a whole number. Now, in the Vedic system, the whole numbers is like 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So how many ever zeros is in the number that you're trying to reach? There's 2 zeros in 100. You need 2 numbers. If you're working with 1,000, if there's 3 zeros in 1,000, you want 3 numbers. So how many ever zeros in the number that you are that you're trying to get to, you got to make sure that you got that amount of digits on there.
To keep your numbers lined up. Okay, so here we are. We have -15 times -1. What is that?
15.
15. We're going to put our 15 down. Now again,
99 minus 15.
Or
85 minus 0, 1.
right. So either case, we have 84. So we have our -15 times 1 is positive 15. We put that down. That's our 1s and our 10s right there. We put our 15 down. Then we have, in our case, 85. I use whatever makes it easier for me to subtract from. 85 take away 1 is easy for me. So that's 84, but it's the same answer. 99 take away 15 is also 84.
Also, you subtract and cross.
You cross subtract. Put your number down, your 84 down, and that's the answer. 85 times 99 is 8,415.
Here's a question.
I got a question. Would you get the same answer if you were to multiply traditionally, or at least the way the school system teaches us?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
But it'll take this with this one. You don't have to go through all those steps. With this one, actually, the purpose one of the reasons we want to do this is because I want everybody in here to be able to do the multiplication fast. I want you to have confidence so that when you walk into class, you already got methods that you could work with. Whether we talking college or whether we talking just plain school, I want you to have confidence because our ancestors had mastery over numbers. We have masteries over numbers because we understand that each number has a personality. Each number means something. So when you understand how the numbers work, it makes it easier for you to do mathematics, no matter what type or how complicated the mathematic is.
So
Miss Tracy,
Yes. Son.
when we get home, can you teach me how to do this?
Sure.
Thank you.
So what about us, like those of us who do geometry?
Now we're gonna get to because that's a whole different type of math.
Like I'm doing proofs here.
No, that's a whole different type of math. We're gonna be doing this every week we come. So we're gonna be working on this, and as she learns, we'll learn. But the book I made available to everybody that's on the Hangout. The book that she's getting this from, and they do have a free geometry book using this same type of method. But you gotta study. You still gonna have to study. I don't want nobody to think that we just giving you shortcuts and you ain't gonna have to do some work.
Okay. Again, we're close to 100, right? We're not far from 100. In this case, we have to add past 100, right?
So add 5 and add 7.
That's
what type
going
of
to be
5 and what type of 7?
Positive 5.
What type? How you write it?
And then afterwards you also add like a positive 7.
Wait, where are we? Oh, okay.
And then like you make that into 12.
And it 5 times 7. What's 5 times 7?
35.
We put our 35 down. In this case, it's over 100. We're going to cross add because that's why we're using our positive and our negatives. We're cross add. So 105 plus 7 is
112.
So 105 times 107 is 11,235. You want to get your calculators out of your phone and see if that's correct?
I don't need a calculator.
Can somebody do this math? I'm scared. This is
So, Khalid, you want to try it?
math we're talking about. I'll try it.
You sure?
Just to challenge my brain.
I'll try one.
Here, I have a
I'm
calculator.
here for profit.
I would have tried
He
it.
don't understand math.
What was the number?
I really don't.
107 times 105.
112.35.
It was 101.
105 times 107.
Can I choose the next one?
105 times 107, and it's 11,235.
That was the answer she got.
I will fail on purpose.
No,
You better not.
It would be true.
Zero two.
Alright. How many digits in 100?
3.
How many zeros?
Zeros.
3.
In 100.
In 100?
How many zeros were in 100?
2.
2. So you want to have 2 digits for your numbers.
There you go.
Good job.
I mean, I can't kind of squashed up.
Use it as a napkin.
So we have 102 times 103.
Point.
Alright, all in all, that actually equals 6 right there. And then you want to cross these over. So then 102 plus 3 equals 105, and 102 plus 3 as well is 105. So all in all, that's going to be...
So the 102 times 103 is 10,506. Good job, Prophet. Is that right?
102 times 103. The answer is 10,506.
Now,
That is correct.
now, once you get this system down and you recognize that, you don't even need to write it down. That's what we're trying to get y'all.
When they talk about mental math, this is this is what it.
Oh.
Thank you.
It doesn't follow me.
You got to make a full circle.
Yeah, so much about the smart board.
Gina, go out the way, baby. You watching? You learning? Trying to learn.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
What are we getting into the 200s then? Still how?
Now, the 200s, now, first off, let's build the confidence up. Now, the 200s will be basically, there's other methods that you can use, but it's basically the same thing. But, like I said, it's just, leave that alone.
So, does it all depend on, just the hundreds?
Yeah.
Itself, and, if I wanted to do, 198 times 172, would I be, measuring exactly how long,
Cleveland.
the fact that 200 minus 198 equals 2? Or will I be measuring 200 minus 198 equals, or just 98?
When you do it that way, this is running low. When you do it that way, you're 100. It's another process to it, and I'll show it to you individually. But we're going to get to that too, because the same way we just did it, we'll do the same thing, but we will be into the 3-digit multiplication. And it's not as simple as how it's not as simple as just how I showed you. But I want to get before I let you go, I want to get into when it's not so close to 100. So we're still in the double digits, but I want to go over when it's not so close to 100. Like for instance, you have 22 times 21. You're going to first multiply the ones place, which 2 times 1 is
2.
Then you're going to cross multiply, right? 2 times 1
2
equals 2. And 2 times 2 equals
4.
These numbers right here you add together. That's your next number. Now, you cross multiply and you added the numbers, added your products together. Now you go to the tens. 2 times 2 is what?
4.
We put our 4 down. That's our answer.
I need to drink some water.
Sit down.
I was so serious.
So you check it, somebody?
You can wait.
That's right.
I'm trying to see how the steps that I'm
It's vertical, cross rise, vertical.
Okay, so this is what I did. I did the ones. This is what I did. I did the ones. Then I cross multiplied. That's what I did. My products. These are the products. I added my products together. That was my next number. Then I did the tens. So ones. So you're multiplying the ones. That's my multiplication sign. Multiply the ones. Then you cross multiply and add the products. Woo. Cross multiply, add the products. Once you add the products, each time you place the numbers. You place the number, and then you go to tens. So you're at ones, cross multiply and add tens. So next week I'll show y'all something else.
I got a
Yes.
Can you demonstrate at least one above 200 number?
Yeah, we could do now. Let's leave it there. All right, because now you got something to come back for. Now the same method that she just used, you can use for the thousands. Like for example, if I was to say 9,000, let's say 999 times 998. What is it? Write it down. Just look at it. Let's look at it. Using the same method. Now remember, how many zeros in the number that we trying to see what we close to?
2.
998. No. Let's say 990. I'm going to do 998 times 999.
Minus 2 on top, minus 1.
No. Why is it?
Do the ones place first, right?
There's 3 in there because of the fact that the number's 1,000.
Right. We're going towards 1,000, so it's going to be 3 over here. All right? So we got 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the answer?
0, 0.
Something in the 10,000.
No, you ain't got to estimate. The answer is right there. Y'all don't see it?
0, 0, 2.
0, 0, 2 and 0, 0, 1 times each other's what?
2.
0, 0, 2.
0, 0, 2. And then if we cross subtract,
997.
997, 0, 0, 2.
Good job, Daddy. Good job.
Hey!
All right.
I'm a different learner. I need words.
I need
a definition. I need the definitions like written out.
I need to actually do it.
Now,
I started to do that. I did.
what we talking about right now is what I'm going to get into for the final part of the session, and then we out. We're going to eat, and we're going to get out. So now,
Chicken.
it's kind of crazy how things work out, man, because I had this plan last time, but Homeboy was doing such a good job, I didn't want to interrupt him. So, I hope we still recording.
We are, I think. Hopefully. Not. I hope. So, not. 2. Yes. Exactly.
Yep, we still live. All right. Move, Chris. Why you up here? All right. So, now, Brother Saru just did a workshop where he talked about urban planning, and we coming together to start doing our own planning, right? And then we had somebody come up and start talking about math. Now, one of the major roadblocks for most of us from getting into the careers that require us to do architecture and require us to do engineering and require us to do the sciences is the math. Now, what we're going to try to do with what we're doing is to help y'all break through that so that you can have the confidence to walk up in those classes like everybody else and get what you need. But then also, there's another roadblock that we got to cross before we even get you to do that. Now, a while ago, we started talking about stories, and I told you the importance of stories to coaching. Why are stories important? Go ahead.
Because they teach like new lessons as well as like I guess you could say like wisdom and like you're just like kind of learning from the experience of the character in the story.
Okay, and cultures are built up on the stories. See, we assume, because we want to go out and get the history, that most people's history is built up on facts. That's not the truth. The truth of the matter is that most people's history is based up on the myths and the legends. See, the story that Europeans will tell you is that they went across Europe and they went across the world and just beat everybody's ass. Excuse my language. But the truth of the matter is, that's not how it went down. They took advantage of some unfortunate events for other people all over the country. Let me tell you about slavery. Slavery happened about the same time that all of our empires happened to fall. It wasn't because they were smarter, but the story they tell you is what? We was just smarter than y'all. The whole culture is based not on historical facts, it's based on the myths and the legends. Now, this is my question. What are the myths and legends that we have as black people? Go ahead.
The only thing I've ever heard was like the Nazi, the spider, and the Egyptian legend.
But we don't even know those. So those ain't really ours. We haven't embraced those. We don't even use those.
Hey, whoa, hold up. I do.
Okay. How many? All right, who else? See, because knowing the stories and hearing the stories, but not actually being able to act on it don't do you no good. See, other people act on their myths. Other people act on their legends. So what we have to do is start plugging in and understanding how to use this stuff. Now, one of the stories that I started with was Trials of G, and I'm not going to go through all that. I made that available for everybody, but I want to tell y'all a story. I was reading a book about this young dude. And at 9 years old, his father was a general. And his father had beef with another people. And these people had beat their people badly in the war. And they had to pay sanctions to this other nation. And the father hated it, and the father always wanted to go back to war. But when he had an opportunity to go back and start trying to conquer some of the lands that they lost, his 9-year-old son wanted to go with him. So his 9-year-old son was like, Dad, I'm ready to go with you. Please let me go with you. Please, can I go with you? He said, no, you can't go with me. He can't go with me. But before we leave, we're going to have our games. Because back in ancient times, before they used to go off to war and do anything major, they used to have games where people came out and showed how athletic they were, how great they were. And then they would have sacrifices. And he had his 9-year-old son go up and put his hand up on a sacrificial cow and swear. He said, son, you can't go with me this time, but you need to swear to me that one day, you will go across the sea and you will conquer them bastards over there. Because they have disrespected our people. That boy put his hand up on there, and they cut the cow, and the blood flew on him, and the boy grew up. His father went off to war, eventually died. He rose up, and I had an opportunity at about 19 years old to take charge of his father's army, and he rolled through France, Spain, and eventually went into Italy and kept Rome on the run for 15 years with 40,000 men. Dude's name was Hannibal Barca.
A true story?
True story. True story. Now, we don't know whether what I told you was actual fact, but we do know that there was a young dude by the name of Hannibal Barca that rode through Spain, went through France, went up through the Alps, came down through the Alps, and ran through Italy for over 15 years. But the point that I'm saying is the historical fact is not important. The story behind it was important. Now, this is my question. When we built pyramids in Kemet, when we built all these cities, were we building those stories on building all that stuff on historical facts, or was we following the legends of our people? Or were we following the myths? See, we the only ones that get caught up in the date and time and whether or not it actually happened, and we start arguing that. But the one thing that we don't really understand is that it's those myths and it's those legends that really move people. It was the myth and the legend that moved Hannibal. It was the myth and the legends that moved those individuals and gave them the confidence to know that they could build pyramids, that they could move stones that was unmovable. Matter of fact, in European history, and this is crazy, listen, in European history, the first white guy supposedly that became the first historian, Herodotus, when he went into Egypt humbly. He went into Egypt and he looked at Egypt and he said, all of our stuff comes from here. He was able to show, and you know what the most important thing that he showed came from Kemet?
What?
The myths and the legends. When he walked up in there, he was able to align his myths with their myths. And he was able to say, theirs are far older than ours. Now, Europeans have been running the world on their story. And we started believing their stories to the point where we have forgotten ours. As important and as powerful as Anansi is, Anansi can't help us if we believe more in their stories. As powerful as Heru is, Heru can't help us if we believe in their stories.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I go as far as to say that I denounce Jesus Christ?
Huh?
Can I go as far to say that I denounce Jesus Christ?
That's your personal reference. I mean preference.
No, I'm saying this is the reason because of the fact that no one really heard of Jesus Christ until the 1500s.
Okay. But now this is the point, and this is where it becomes powerful for us. My question is, regardless of whether you renounce it or not, can you find some wisdom in the story?
I can.
Then why renounce it? My point is, can that story help motivate and move you to where we need to be? Because now one of the reasons he put up all this stuff about the city and planning, we have to understand people have already that started as a story in somebody's head, an idea in somebody's head. These people have been planning to change the face of Columbus for the last 50 years. Do y'all know that?
Yeah.
They started their kids out thinking about this when it was your age. Now what are my kids thinking about? How many of y'all thinking about taking over Columbus? Really?
Actually, the world, but...
Let's start with Columbus. Let's start at home. If we are serious, then some of y'all need to be saying, look, I'm going to be a politician. I'm going to be a lawyer so that I can run the police force. I mean, we really want to take this over. This is the way young people, this is the way we got to motivate y'all to think. Yeah, we can take over the world, but let's start with where we are first so that we can make sure our game plan is together, because if we can't do what we want to do here, we're not going to take it out into a large arena and be successful. And if the myths and stories that we have don't lead to that, because check this out. In the Trials of G, this is about a young man who get kidnapped, taken somewhere else, learn some secret knowledge, bring it back, take over his people. And he leads his people to a certain level, and then all of a sudden something happens, and the cycle starts all over again. Y'all's story. Y'all's story. This story came for y'all. Now, I have another story up here called The Lost Little Simba. What's this one about? This is about a little lion that gets lost, get found by somebody else that's not like him, raised in a whole different culture, taught not to hate, not to love himself, and then eventually he finds out the truth. And he rises up and goes back to his people. This is our story. This is one of our myths and our legends. Now, the most important story, and I asked y'all this before and y'all gave me the answer. I hope y'all remember. What is the most important story for anybody in this room?
My story.
Your story. Now, my question is, who is writing your story?
I write my own story.
I hope.
I told you.
I mean, but we say that. But are we really writing our own story?
Yes.
Are we writing our story as a people?
Oh, no.
If we're not writing our stories as a people, more than likely we're not writing our stories as individuals. I mean, I want y'all to think about that. We base who we are on what we tell ourselves we are. And we tell ourselves what we are according to our culture. And if our culture don't say anything to us about what we are, then what's left? We identify with somebody else's culture. And then identifying with somebody else's culture is sort of like putting Superman in the room with kryptonite. You get weak. You become powerless. All I'm saying is we need to start really looking at our story, and not just at the historic facts. I don't care if you can't tell me, if you don't know the progression exactly and the dates exactly. I don't care about that. But do you know our story? Do you know that we actually built pyramids, and that to build pyramids, we had to have a whole infrastructure around that? When we talk about building a pyramid, we're talking about people working together as a community, as a nation for over 20 years, which meant there was probably very little unemployment. That meant that everybody was working. So we had to come up with a way to keep everybody working. That means the people that was somebody had to bake that bread. Somebody had to lay those roads. Somebody had to cut them stones. Somebody had to do the medical work. We're not thinking like that. I want y'all to start thinking as nation builders, as warriors and nation builders, because when we start thinking like that, we'll start constructing our story like that. Do you understand? Yeah. All right. But any questions for me before? Because I'm done and we can eat. I ain't want to hold y'all too long.
I'm hungry too. I got nothing for now. Hold up. So
I got the stories. Those that want the stories,
for now,
you can download them off of the I got it on the calendar. But go and know the story so that we could go and discuss the story more in details, because these stories are about you.
Bring it back to me. What'd you get? What'd you get out of it?
Back.
Yes, sir.
And we can actually like build our own nation and make our own story, as long as like we are able to like collect our people together.
I see.
I thought, why not build our own? Why not build upon our own land, Africa, instead of trying to build here?
Well, let me ask you this: Where are your immediate roots? Because yeah, we can build in Africa, but are we going to be in Africa? If we talking about all getting up and moving to Africa, yeah, let's do that. You see what I'm saying? But if we right here, right now, and you sitting up there holding a piece of your family right there, you know what I'm saying? I'm with what Prophet said. I want the world. Hell with just Columbus, but I'm saying let's practice where we are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we can still buy land over there. But first, let's organize with what we got over here. And Prophet, I'm gonna say this to your piece. We don't need everybody, dog. Don't need everybody. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that if the Russians can do it and if the Yakuza can do it, then I'm pretty sure we can do it too.
What you get, Will?
I got that. Being an architect or a lawyer, a doctor, or somebody in high ranks can get you a lot of places. Like we have a lot of people that come together with high rank. Even if you're low rank, you could turn into something. Like the felons that's out there, they could do something that hands-on, but they need something to do anyway too. And if we build something big, an empire or whatever, it takes all to work on it. And like it say, when you say it take a village to raise a child, take a whole village to raise an empire. So yeah, if we could start building an empire here, it would take a lot of the rate unemployment rate down, because a lot of people have to be working anyway.
So which side of town we trying to build up?
Let's work with the east side, just like we meet over here anywhere.
Yeah, it is.
I just want to say, what I learned is like it's all a movement. Like everybody get on the same page, we can make something happen. If say, okay, I do roads, you do lights,
brilliant.
You know, you do the water cycle, like then everything can happen. We can make our own district. You know what I mean? But say that you're not doing your part, you're not doing it, and I'm not doing my part, then we're not moving nowhere. It's all a movement at the end of the day. So that's all I just got to say.
It was a movie that was very popular when I was younger. It was called The Black Caesar. I don't know. Anybody seen The Black Caesar? In The Black Caesar, it was about this little boy who always got in trouble, ended up going to jail. But he had his little crew. So before he went to jail, because he got framed by the police, he was laying up in the hospital, and his two best friends came to him. And before he went to jail, he gave them both assignments. He told one to learn about the religious game. He said, I want you to learn about the religious game. and he took the other one. He called him the brain, and he left instructions to all his boys around. He said, "You don't let nobody mess with this boy." He said, "You go to school. I want you to learn how to move money around." So when he got out of jail, by the time he got out of jail, his one boy had a church, and this dude was the brain. He was basically an accountant. So when he got out and he started doing his little thing, I ain't saying we doing nothing illegal, but he had a crew with people with instructions, and you brought it up perfectly. If you work roads and he worked lights, and Prophet one day become mayor of the city, guess who can make sure you get a contract? Ain't that how they do it? That's how they do it.
Right.
That's why they send their kids to certain schools, so that they could network. Oh, y'all got a construction company? Oh, put the bid in. And we got people to make sure his bid is just right so that we can slide them right in.
But look at it, even if you paid attention to any of the political ads that were going on before Election Day and some of the mudslinging that was going on, it was about the people that were the incumbents allowing their friends to get in positions to make certain amount of dollars or certain contracts. But they're still in power.
They're still in power. Go ahead.
I'm looking more at making an empire, though.
Start with a tribe,
a
dog.
dynasty.
Okay. Start with a tribe, though.
He wants to be a dictator. Yes. He fancies power. Only power. That's where his only allegiance lies. At the end of the day.
It really does.
In all my years of knowing Prophet, I refuse to acknowledge that until now.
You
It's
about to
okay.
say something? No, right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I learned how we had started all the ideas and that other races came from ours and made new things out of our ideas.
Who was the first? Who was the last?
Yes, sir.
I learned that there's pyramids all around the United States and stuff. And then when I was seeing the pyramids, I actually seen like there was kind of like pictures in it. Like the one that he said, it looked like an elephant to me because it was like that, and then right there, and then an elephant face. And there was another one. It looked like a turtle. I learned that they can make pyramids look like things in real life.
That's what's up.
Your turn.
I actually have a question.
You didn't get anything out of today? Kind of scary.
I mean, the math, everything that was showing you and get
Like not even the cross examination.
I like the math that my mom did.
All right, okay.
I learned balance today.
Get it, girl. I'm not.
Now that's where religion should be held.
So, right. And actually, that's something that you got to have in life. If you don't have balance, you really
Full scale
ain't
on my
no
plane is up here.
Prophet.
Full scale on my plane is up here. Let's keep it that way.
Please, for all.
You still learn
I'll be going to have it.
I know, right. Okay, good.
Did you do the other
That math done.
You guys see that we are being recorded. What happened? What you say?
That math. Good.
Maybe another time.
Lunchtime.
This kind of ties into the all the nation building we talking about. You know,
Gotta speak up.
all the architecture and everything. You know, planning. This what I got to say leads right into that. How many people in here are at least 18?
I think I'm close enough to you.
Okay, well, I'm 18 to 30, between 18 and 30. I'm people in the room between 18 and 30. Okay.
I'm 30.
18. Totally 18.
All right, well,
Okay.
what's
I'm 16.
when we talk about we talk about starting a nation, planning for the future. What's one of the main important things that our nation is going to need?
food and unity.
There it is. Food. He answered the question. Food. Who in here is interested in horticulture, the science of growing food?
Agriculture.
Agriculture. Horticulture. Yes. Okay. Well, between the ages of 18 and 30, there is a program, a 10-week paid training program. It's called Green Corp. It starts December 12th. It's not too late to sign up. You can learn about landscaping, garden maintenance, plant care, growing fruits and vegetables, plant and tree identification, and more. And again, it's 10 weeks paid training. And by the time it's over, springtime is going to be a lot of different places are going to be hiring for the care of fruits and vegetables. More importantly, you will have the skill, you will have the intellect to grow. That's something that you're going to need. That's something your children going to need. Their children, and so on. Yes.
That is a good idea because I'm not in that range, although I used to be. But what I've come to find is it's very important to start having your own type of gardens and foods grown because then you know what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what I found too was I thought it was kind of like, I thought you have to have this kind of space to have this garden so that you can have a garden. Well, I just met a lady, I think it was last week, and she lived in an apartment, and she used aluminum pans and made her garden on her patio, so it can happen. So I wanted to emphasize how important it is to start that kind of thing as far as growing your own food. That way you do know what you're eating. You do know what you're putting on the food because, see, the food that you go and buy, they do all kinds of things to that food, and then we eat it. Mm-hmm. And then those things then we have all these situations going on with it. So I wanted to kind of re-emphasize that.
Because even though they talk about eat your fruits and vegetables, no one's talking about what's in the fruits and vegetables. Do you know that American apples, the UK, United Kingdom, will not even accept American apples? You know why? They have over 50 different pesticides sprayed over them. I just saw a list of the 5 most contaminated fruits and vegetables. The highest, I want to say, was strawberries. They had about 60 or something. Grapes, really high. So, but this is something that's not really that mainstream, but this is something we have to think about. What is being sprayed on what we're eating and what effect is it having on us? But if you're growing your own food, you don't have to worry about that. You can take the best process, the most organic process to make sure your food is healthy and it's going to help your family grow. But again, yeah, go ahead.
So washing it off doesn't help the situation or the pesticides at all?
I've used vegetable washes and things like that. I'm not sure exactly how much. Well, you got to understand too, the pesticides, they spray them on them, but they seep into them. Now you don't know how long that apple took to get from California to you, or from wherever it's coming from. So you don't know how much time that those pesticides have had to seep into it. But that's something that you could do some research on and maybe present to us.
And especially, the fruits and vegetables, they're spraying pesticides on, but they also using gene splicing to put different type of genes in food. So you might be eating an apple and it has spider genes in there. And it's altering your genes. So just think about that.
Meat, is it better if I hunt for meat instead of getting it from the store because it's processed?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'd have to agree. The meat game is serious.
It's the same thing as cause they're doing stuff to the meat as they doing with the fruit and vegetables.
Yes, they are. Anybody ever see Food Inc? Mm-hmm. Food Inc. It's a good documentary. Maybe we can show it in here one day. But the meat, definitely the same thing. But we ain't living a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. It's a bit, there are people that are, but most of the people we know and we used to rolling up, getting that number 5, going to Kroger's, hitting out 4.
And also, man, look at what your ancestors ate, man, because your ancestors were on a certain diet. So check out what your ancestors ate.
And it's good to understand what your food does for you. I'm vegetarian. I'm a vegan. I eat a lot of green vegetables because they're high in protein. I eat a lot of nuts because they're high in protein. So it's good to have an understanding of what your food is doing for you besides tasting good or bad. But if you're interested in the Green Corps program, get with me, and I'll give you the brother's email address so you can contact him and let him know that you're interested. But again, I can't stress how important it is that just like he said, somebody's got to do the water cycle, somebody's got to do the plumbing, and someone's got to lay the roads. Somebody got to be worried about where our food's coming from, how it's growing, if it's even good for us. And again, there's just like all those other things are great to know so we can pass down. How many people do y'all know with yards? But come on now, we got yards.
We got a big one.
We got yards, but
I don't know what to do with it. Anybody want to come to do free gardening? It don't matter. Get how fast can y'all get there?
Personally, I'd rather know how to utilize your yard than be looking for a number to cost money for food stamps. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
But they work. Go ahead.
Definitely. But that's my piece.
And I had one last thing for our young men who are middle school and up. On Tuesdays at the main library, a good friend of mine, Hani Mwalimu, has a chess club that started up. We've probably been about 4 weeks in. But you're welcome to come from 5:30 to 7. Learn how to play, how to notate. I'm also doing some life skills and parallels to those things that are going on within the chess game. And actually, we have a chess tournament coming up at Cristo Rey High School on December 6th.
5 to 7
on Tuesday.
All day.
Tuesday.
Middle school.
Middle school and up.
Oh.
So middle school, high school. Yes.
So what if a preschool was so good at chess? I'm just.
I got you on the. They probably could be very good at the strategy of the game.
But they beat their parents.
How well are they able to articulate how it parallels to life? I don't know. That may be different because there's a different nuance to the conversation that you and I have and then I have with a preschool person.
That and also that preschooler doesn't have a lot of that self-discipline within, where yes, they can play the game, but do they really understand the strategic thing, and also because I have a 5-year-old kindergartner who can't seem to sit still for too long, so it's back to.
So for any of you that are interested, please come out.
I'm gonna play. I love chess. I dominate chess. The excellent, perfect defense.
All right, thanks for joining us on Geometry Journey. Brother Hart Tim, Geometry Journey Radio.
Have you ever notated your game?
That?
Actually, one of the things is when you play a game of chess without.
Of course, we strive to blow up your paradigm.
Two black, two
strong. You have to shut up. Let's go.
TEDx.
Let's make sure we take our things. We're going to go in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we
Put
put
some
the
chairs
chairs back up.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, show that.
Sasha Max.
Stuff up, please. If you see anything of your money, grab her stuff.
Have a hug. Please.
Thank you.
My name is Prophet, and this is Giami Journey Radio.
This is Brother Asaru, and you now listen to Giami Journey Radio. Peace.